Spanos here for the Coachspeak Index. What up? Week 15, December 11th, 2025. Everyone getting into the holiday spirit. I hope there's some snow where you are. It was 81 degrees Fahrenheit here in LA yesterday. I'm thinking about renting a snow machine. Just put it in my apartment, or at least like hiring a few people with really bad dandruff. Just have them stand over me and scratch their heads for a couple hours. I think I'm going to do a karaoke best ball live stream on Christmas Eve. Sing some Christmas songs while I draft some gauntlet teams. That is the playoff best ball contest on Underdog that has $2 million in prizes. $500,000 to first place. They just launched that contest this week. I've already started sneaking some drafts in over there. If you're not playing on Underdog, got a little QR code in the bottom left-hand corner, and got a link in the description for the audio listeners. Get up to $1,000 in bonus cash plus a free pick'em. You can draft some gauntlet teams. I'm going to try to sneak a few more in tonight during the second half of this game. Should be done with pressers, or most of them by then. And just a really fascinating contest. Probably seen some people post some screenshots. Guys like Jewish McCaffrey on Twitter. And I think Davis Maddock also put out a video a while back on kind of the strategies that you want to lean into, things that you definitely want to avoid. You don't want to have different people from a bunch of different teams. You're trying to get as many live options as possible in the Super Bowl. So I've been doing a lot of Houston stuff. You can get those guys late. I think they have about as good a shot as anybody in the AFC. So doing some Houston, heavy Houston with like Green Bay and Seattle bringbacks, that kind of stuff. Really fascinating contest in terms of like game theory and combining game theory with player takes. Very, very, very fun stuff. All right, let's talk about some things some Coachspeak things. This is the Coachspeak Index. And pulled some stuff from the Coachspeak Index Discord to talk about. QR code for that in the top right hand of your screen and in the description. Let's talk about it. All right, start with a running back. Los Angeles Rams head coach Sean McVay keeps talking up Blake Corum. He was asked this week to talk about Corum's development, and McVay said it's been awesome. He's been so consistent and so steady. He provides an explosive element. He's really tough in protection. He's doing a great job in the pass game. I think he and Kyren Williams have been excellent complements of one another. I think the more that he plays, the more confidence that he's earning. He's been outstanding. Love what we've seen from Blake. Sean McVay is really sticking to this 65-35 split that he hinted at before the season and then has talked about throughout this year. I think Corum would have to keep blowing the doors off like he did last week in order to get into any sort of like true 50-50 split. But, just off the top of my head, like this is the best handcuff in fantasy. If Kyren Williams goes down, Blake Corum is instantly a bell cow in an elite offense run by an elite offensive mind. And even with Kyron Williams active, you could play Corum in your lineups if you're in a real pinch, knowing that Corum gets entire drives to himself. He's a good bet to get you 10 or so touches. He's going to be a very popular pick in fantasy next year in that area where the elite handcuffs with standalone value go. Talk a tight end here. Atlanta Falcons offensive coordinator Zach Robinson said that Kyle Pitts has done a great job. He's made huge strides from a season ago. He's become our kind of number one guy that we're targeting, obviously. He's done a great job as a receiver. He's done a great job as a blocker this year. His blocking ability has given us a lot of versatility in 12 personnel and 13 personnel to do a lot of different things. Can't say enough good things about Kyle. He puts in the work. He's having to learn a number of spots. He's handling it really well. Pitts is all the way up to playing on 86.4% of offensive snaps this season. After he played on just 61.9% of snaps last year, his blocking has gotten better, which is why he's been able to get on the field more in 2025. He's averaging 8 targets per game this season when Drake London has been out. And then Pitts gets another Londonless game tonight against the Bucs. Kirk Cousins has been absolutely locked in on Kyle Pitts. Let's talk receivers for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So Emeka Egbuka has had a pretty rough go of it lately between Baker Mayfield's catchable throw rate dipping since his injury and Egbuka dropping some of the passes that are on target there in Tampa. Bucs head coach Todd Bowles was asked how he can get Egbuka, how he can help Emeka Egbuka get his confidence back. Bowles said, just get him some quick throws early, get him some easy catches, try to get him in the groove and get him in the rhythm. And he's got to get himself in a rhythm as well. We trust him completely. He's a great player for us. When your great players drop the ball, you've just got to live with it. He's hard on himself, and he'll come back from that and play better. The very next day, Bucs offensive coordinator Josh Grizzard stated that Emeka Egbuka is a very confident guy. He's prepared the right way from day one. He's played all 3 spots. He's won games for us. So we have all the confidence in the world in him. We're going to try to get it to him early, often, with the game on the line. We'll keep getting it to him. He'll make some plays, and we expect a big game out of him this Thursday night. Notice both Bowles and Grizzard saying the same kind of line of, basically, we're going to try to jumpstart this guy. We're going to get him some throws early in the game. I think Emeka Egbuka is going to be fine, especially in the long run. If I'm in a dynasty league and the Egbuka manager is panicking, I would swoop in and capitalize on that. This is a really good prospect. He's hit a rough patch, due to this perfect storm of having an injured quarterback and being thrust into a number 1 role in an offense that's been missing a lot of pieces. Also has this, temporary case of the yips. I guess it's more of an imperfect storm than a perfect storm. I don't know the exact semantics of that, but it's all these different, factors coming together at the same time here. As for the Bucs, it looks like Mike Evans is returning to the field tonight. Josh Grizzard was asked last week whether Evans will be on a pitch count when he returns. Grizzard said, I think so. I think the same plan we had with Chris Godwin and Bucky Irving. It wouldn't be fair to expect them to play a full game when they're back. We'll bring him along and let his play strength and stamina build up. So a few things to point out here. By the way, getting this breaking news. alert on my phone saying Mike Evans good to go tonight. Won't play every down, but will be in on the key ones. Yeah. So first of all, Chris Godwin, Bucky Irving, they were dealing with lower body injuries. Mike Evans is returning from a clavicle, so his cardio probably less of a concern than it was with the other two guys in terms of working them back in. Most importantly, though, just because a player is not getting their full complement of snaps does not mean that they won't see a high amount of usage. So, for instance, Bucky Irving played on 52.5% of offensive snaps when he returned from his 2-month absence. But he saw 19 touches on those 32 snaps he did play. And we already know the kind of connection that Baker Mayfield has with Mike Evans. So even if Evans only plays, 50% of snaps, he could still have a productive game. And I would imagine that he will be playing virtually all of the red zone snaps for the Bucs tonight, given what a threat he is in that area. And then there is one more Bucs wide receiver who is very close to returning to action, and that is Jalen McMillan, a.k.a. Jalen McMillions. Josh Grizzard was talking McMillan up in the offseason, and then McMillan ended up suffering a pretty brutal neck injury. He is back to practice now. He's looking good by all accounts. Here is what Josh Grizzard said about him a couple days ago. We like Jalen McMillan's ability to beat press coverage, and he's really good with yak and screens and things you saw towards the end of last year. He was in a really good place in training camp with his production and his ability to play different positions. Anytime you can have someone like him or a Chris Godwin or a Bucky Irving, you get the ball in their hands, they can make that first guy miss, and you can turn a 5-yard completion into a massive completion. I thought he's done a really good job in the run game as well. This is a crowded receiver room, but Mike Evans, in the last year of his contract, and then Chris Godwin, he's going to be 30 next year, not going to be around forever. I think he has 2 years left on his contract, but the Bucs have an out after 2026, I believe. I think Jalen McMillan could have a bright future in Tampa, probably be pretty cheap in drafts next season. All right, let's do a few quick hits from the Discord. Cowboys head coach Brian Schottenheimer was asked where Ryan Flournoy has improved the most. Schotty said probably the route running. He's always had the size and the speed, but he's worked really, really hard on the fundamentals of top of the route transition. He's always been very strong at the catch point. You're seeing him create more and more separation. Really proud of him. Broncos head coach Sean Payton said that we've got to continue to find more touches for Marvin Mims on the offensive side of the ball, and we'll do that. All right, so everybody put $1 into the Sean Payton saying we have to get the ball to Marvin Mims jar. Payton has a 50% reliability rating on usage and workload Coachspeak and a very long history of saying these kinds of things about Marvin Mims specifically. Packers head coach Matt LaFleur stated that Christian Watson is a dynamic player, and we've got to continue to find ways to get him the ball. I mean, this is clearly the Packers' number one guy. Go into the Coachspeak Index Discord, Control F in the Green Bay Packers thread for Christian Watson, and man, the way that they talk about this dude, he is their guy. He's a difference maker for them, and yeah, they just want to get him the ball as much as possible, like Matt LaFleur said. All right, cool. That'll do it for us today on the pod. Going to go grind these pressers. All the notes from those will be in the Coachspeak Index Discord. Thursday is a big offensive coordinator day, and that's a big day of notes because head coaches, they're talking about a lot of different stuff. They're talking about the defense. They're talking about the other team that they're facing. Blah blah blah. Offensive coordinators, they're talking about the guys that we're playing in fantasy. All these skill position guys. So big day in the Discord, and we'll see you in there. All right, Sarah, take us out.